An unbelievable statement there. It was an unbelievable statement we were just listening to from Dr. Bright. He has filed a whistleblower complaint saying he was removed from his position as the nation's top doctor developing vaccines and protocols to protect us from the pandemic in which we are in the throes. Some of the more notable things that jumped out at me, he said he was fired because he followed the science, quote, instead of funding projects promoted by cronies. The word cronies leaping out and making you feel ill if you're watching what's happening and wondering who's in charge. He talked about efforts to rush blindly into pushing hydroxychloroquine, said it was alarming. He talked about a stockpile of the drug that wasn't safe, that wasn't approved by the FDA, that might have been toxic in his view. He said he wouldn't allow ambition to come before science. And then he spoke to all Americans, saying that Americans need to be able to trust their government. Never before has there been a time when the voices of our scientists are needed more. For the end, pointing out that it's inappropriate to put politics ahead of science. Director Brennan, this is the nightmare scenario that in the midst of a pandemic and within 24 hours of learning that the death toll in this country is going to double before June 1st, that the numbers of infections are going to quadruple by that same date. The top scientist in charge of developing a vaccine was ousted out of a move of retaliation.
Well, that's a damning indictment that should make every American's blood boil. If business and political crony interests are literally trumping the advice of medical experts during a period of great crisis in this country dealing with COVID-19, that is absolutely appalling. And I applaud Dr. Bright for coming forward at great personal expense and risk. And I encourage others to do the same thing. Because at this period of time, with corruption and malfeasance in government is really a matter of life and death. And that's why I think what Dr. Bright is doing right now, demonstrating with his courage by going forward with this indictment, basically, of those who have been responsible for diverting and for focusing on the business and political interests of others at the expense of America's health. That is something that I think we all need to address. And I just wish that Congress, in a bipartisan fashion, and also the Department of Justice, which I am very concerned about in terms of the political cancer that is seeping in at the highest levels there. This needs to be addressed in the most forthright, honest way possible. And unfortunately, I think we all have some questions about whether or not it's going to be addressed that way.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.